All right, let me know if you can hear me now. All right, if you can hear me, let me get a 1 on there. Salaki about that. Okay, the water sis. All right. So yeah, so basically, if you didn't hear what we were saying before, Salaki about that, I was going into Adam and Eve. How Adam and Eve were the first considered married couple in the Bible, right? But there's nowhere you can see in the Bible where Adam had to get her a ring, get her a wedding, sign a prenup, do all this stuff here, pay a preacher, all that. That's not how marriage works. That's not how God intended. God wanted your body to mean more than paperwork. You know why? Because paperwork means a sign of a pen and you're no longer divorced, right? That's what that basically means. You go through the same paperwork and you're done. So it never really makes anything. Most High wants your body to be treated like it's his temple. Your body is his temple. No one should be able to come to this temple and just leave when they want to. That's for man or woman. And we've been doing that to each other for so long, just pulling out the lust that we want and then going on about our business. That was never how this was supposed to intended to be. All right. So we see that with Adam and Eve, that, you know, that was the marriage. That was a legitimate marriage that your Christian pastor acknowledges as a marriage, but he can't show you where they went to a wedding. So that's the first thing that has our people distorted in what this thing called marriage is. Because what's going on is our sisters are sleeping with different men, having fun, and when they find a man they like, then they want to say they're married. That's not how that works. Or our sisters are with a brother that is helping you mentally, physically, and financially, and you still will say to this brother, "You're not my husband. We don't have a ring." And what you're saying is you want him to put a dog tag on you. I don't have a marriage paper on me. Just think about it on those levels. This is what the Christian church has done to us, and it's become big business. I've shot out some numbers I've heard of people that have gotten married. It's ridiculous how much money people spend on it. I know people still paying on loans for a marriage when they could have been getting a loan for a business, loan for a house. And that's not our culture, right? So let's get into some stuff, some other rules that go into this marriage that's not taught in the Christian church that we have to understand is destroyed our people. We're going to go to Deuteronomy 22 and 13. All right. Let's start with that. Deuteronomy 22 and 13. If any man take a wife and go unto her, right, and hate her, all right, what does that mean? That means a brother can marry a woman, sleep with her, defile her, you know what I'm saying, lawfully, and then all of a sudden say hate her. That means he can get tired of that woman, right? That means he'll try to find excuses to get rid of her and hate her or whatever thing. And that's just wicked as hell to do that, right? It's okay to have an issue with your woman, but as long as you make sure you work that out verbally at some point in time, right? So if a man go into a wife and go into her and hate her and give occasional speech against her, that means he's walking around, instead of talking to his rib, he's talking to everybody else about his rib. He's not dealing with her. He's talking to her auntie or her mama and her sister. He feel like he's just giving up on her. You know what I'm saying? Just don't want to deal with it. She's too hard-headed, all that, right? And bring up an evil name upon her and say, hey, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. So that means back then, we had brothers who would take a woman that was not been with a man, right? And then when he get her, he'll say, oh, this girl, he'll say, hey, this girl don't feel right. You know, she been with a man before, right? Lying about it. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother bring forth a tokens of damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city and the gate, And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter to this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he hath given occasional speech against her. Now, what do you see right here? Right here, you see what? The father of this girl was involved in this process, because that is something that needs to be brought back in the earth. Once the so-called black man, once he takes control back of his household, you have to have control of who your daughter is going to marry. That is something that needs to be put everywhere. I don't care if you think your father is a damn wino, right? Because we got to bring the respect for the fathers back, right? You got to understand, that's the only way it's going to work. You should always want the father of your child, whether you're with him tonight, to be respected in terms of your children. His opinion should be respected. And that's why we need more righteous brothers. So the more that grows in the earth, there could be righteous decisions getting made. But the father should be involved in who his daughter marries, especially if he's been a part of raising her in his life, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to make a good decision if he's raised that child. He's going to know what she needs, who she needs to be with, who's good for her, who's not, who's a good matchup for her, and the daughter should listen. Nowadays, that's unheard of. What we're told today is let the woman be free. Let her be free to go on about her day, do what she want to do. If she want to go date this person, let her date that person. But it's coming back when that person is a woman abuser, or end up being a homosexual, or being a whoremonger, chasing bastard. Who she called back to? She ended up calling her father. That's what happens most time when girls have their father in their life and don't listen to them. They end up calling him back anyway when they mad at their husband. When it should be taught from the beginning of a daughter's birth, her father should be in control who she is going to marry. Right? So let's get that. And the father is the most important person in that. So, and he hath given occasional speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. All right? And we'll drop down a little more. They go through a process, right? It's a process. You can't just accuse a woman of being a whore in this time, and you should not be able to do that now, right? Just because you don't like a woman before, you come back and say, hey, oh, she's a whore, she's dead. You know what I'm saying? You're not allowed to do that because your word got to mean something. You can't just accuse somebody of something and nobody verifies it. It should be able to be verified and checked out. Because that's something that don't get talked about a lot. Is we all actually just go and accuse each other, man and female. The Christian church allows this, allows a woman to want to go through a man's phone, or a man to want to go through her phone. What you should be doing is trusting the person that you decide to lay down with. You should be understand. Okay, even if something don't sound right, okay, we'll revisit that later. But you're not walking around with stuff in your chest all day, because you and your spirit think, oh, this is going on right now. You know what I'm saying? That'll destroy a marriage. That will straight up destroy a marriage. That'll destroy a courtship. If you want to be one of the women that have a bad dream and wake up and he's sleeping with your sister, and that man probably hates your sister, but in your mind you thinking, oh, he doing this, he doing that. That's just you might have had some bad wings that night. Get up and shake that demon off of you, right? All right, so yeah. But if this thing be true and the tokens, so yeah, I'm gonna drop down on that. And if a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, right? So this is what we were talking about also in Sabbath service, about how adultery was always a law, right? We talked about it when Abram, almost made the king commit adultery. He was a heathen, but it still would have been adultery. And the Lord came and visited him about that, right? This has always been a law against God. If a woman belongs to a man, do not mess with her. That is the reason there's so many divorces going on. And also, there's no brotherhood. No brotherhood. No brother will look at a beautiful woman and saying, hey, I'm not gonna touch this woman. I'm not gonna violate this brother to be with his woman. I'm not going to lie on this brother to be with his woman. That's something we don't have in the earth right now. Only place I've ever seen that is in the ISUPK. Where you can have your woman can have a conversation with your brother, and you ain't got to worry about whether or not she is going to fall for him. She knows that's her brother, right? That's the trust that we have to keep black on black crime down. Because there's no brotherhood in these streets because everybody's worried about another man taking something from him. And this woman is always included in that. So we have to get in a spirit where it's a disgusting habit for you to mess with another man's woman, because that's the only way we're going to get back to our foundation, to who we are. Our women are always going to outnumber the men. So there's no reason why brothers should want to sleep with another man's woman. Would you want to sleep in another man's bathwater? That's what you're doing. Right? That's what you're doing. You should never want to do that. And for those of you who don't realize that, I'm saying that's a homosexual feeling to want to sleep with a woman that has a man. You want to put your rod where his rod is. Think about it like that, because that's the facts of what you're doing. You want to share the same box with a man. When there's plenty of boxes out here, all these women that like each other, they need help. They need brothers on them to help them get off this homosexuality. But that's not happening. We're trying to pass around, even in the industry. You will notice how there are certain women that the men date seriously back to back. Look at Steve Harvey's daughter, right? We know about 5 celebrities that she's been in a serious relationship with. But she represents how our women think right now. As long as she's happy, she can move on. And there's going to be another man that's going to forget what happened with that other man and just treat her like nothing ever happened. And that's trickled down to our daughters. That's why the fathers got to be put back in the house. That's why the fathers have to be pushed to the forefront of this decision making. And I'm going to tell you something right now, ladies. If you got a deadbeat baby daddy, give him a flyer. Get him into the ISUPK. Don't let your child disrespect your baby's father because he's not who you want him to be. Get that brother a flyer and help him rebuild himself up, even if you're not with him. Take part in building that brother up so he can help you with decisions with your child. Because he's the same man you laid down with and had that baby. So we can't sit here and just say that he's just, a piece of crap. You can't lie like that. Because you're talking about your judgment now. You should want that other person, whether you're with them or not, to always be in a prominent position, man or female. You should want your baby mama or your baby daddy to be okay. You shouldn't wish bad on them, right? You should be able to have them respect you and you respect them. All right? Let's keep going with that. All right? If a man is found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they should both of them die, right? So both of them will be wrong. So it shouldn't be no situation where you come in a house and you see your husband and another man and you picking at him or one or picking at her. Both of them should die. Now, if you catch anybody doing that in 2023, you leave that woman. I'm not going to tell you to murder that brother. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of I'm not going to tell you to take the life of that brother, right? Because you'll go to jail. You know what I'm saying? No, don't just assume you're going to get crime or passion behind that. Leave that brother and do not look back. Leave her, because it's going to weaken you in the end if you don't leave her. All right? You have to. There's a law of God that I will show you that you have to leave. All right? All right? So both of them will die. Both the man that lay with the woman lay with the man. If a damsel, verse 23, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed to a husband, and a man find her in the city. Now, betrothed means courting, right? Betrothed means this is the person you're supposed to end up with, right? And a man find her in the city and lie with her, verse 24, then ye shall bring them both unto the gate of the city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. So understand, that's unbrotherly, okay? For one thing, that's unbrotherly. This woman belongs to this man. She's courting this man Like, one thing I like about our sisters in the school, it's sisters in the school that will put up, they're courting this brother because they're seriously courting the brother. They're seriously saying, I'm courting this brother. I don't have time to be entertaining different men. Those are wise women because they know that's not wise to court more than one man. Right? So the damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he had humbled his neighbor's wife, so thou shalt put away evil from you. Right? So understand that. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man forced her and lie with her, then the man owned it. Like, this is talking about rape right there. Of course, something that we don't condone in ISUPK, right? You know, any woman that has ever been raped, you should file. You should cry out about that. Never be quiet. All right. This is a commandment from the Most High, right? Never be quiet about that. Always speak up on that. All right. All right. Let's drop down 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give her father 50 shekels of silver. Then we go back to that father thing, right? Go back to the father thing. If a man finds a damsel and lay with her without her father's permission, he had to pay him. He had to pay him money, right? Because he didn't go through the father. Now, you also can pay a dowry for the brother. If a brother raised up a righteous sister and you want to court her and you go to that man righteously, he can't charge you money to have his daughter. My goal is to charge you if you want to date my daughter. That's my plan for my daughter. It should be that plan for every brother's daughter. You should want to pay somebody to spend money to be with your child. And if he can't pay it right then, let him get on a debt plan. You really want to be with her, right? Look at Jacob. This is our forefather. Our forefather waited, what, 14 years to bring us here? Because he had a woman that he wanted that bad. Now, you ain't going to have to do that here. You know what I'm saying? But that was just, extraordinary man. That's why he is, our forefather. That's why his name was written in the book of life. Who you know would have done that? 14 years to be with a sister. That's the spirit you want to be in, all right? Because you don't want to be that brother that just chase everything. You see something that you really want, you see a sister that's worth the virtue, don't have a problem waiting on that. All right? All right, so understand that's key to what's going on out here, man. That's key to what we got to remember. So let's go to some criteria here that would cause you to be able to divorce, right? Let's get that. Right? All right. For a verse, this is Romans chapter 7, verse 2. For the woman which hath a husband is bound by the law to her husband, so long as he liveth. Right? So what that means? That means that woman, when she marries that man, she's with that man to the day he dies. Now, you tell a black woman these days that they'll lose their mind, right? It's like you cutting off the options. But you had your whole life. You had until at least 20 years to decide that. All you really need is a year, really, to decide that if you want to be with a man or not, if you want to deal with the man's issues, if what he has or what he's lacking is something you can deal with. It shouldn't take you that long when you're an adult. But even if you were young, you know what I'm saying, that's why you should take your time. That's why you should tell your daughters to take your time. Don't be that mother or that father that lets your child, either one of them, a male or female, just sleep around just to be doing it. We come up in a time where it was the cool thing for the father to let the son go out and, like when Boosie said this a few months back, that he let his son get some head from Salaki. I can't say that, Salaki. Got some oral sex from a female. This is his son. And I'm thinking that he might have been about 12 years old, maybe. Now, when I heard that, it's wicked as hell now that I know the truth. But coming up, That was a regular thing for a man old, not my father, but of course, but somebody older than you to want to go ahead and introduce you to something sexual with a woman. He would want you. That was a thing. Like, okay, let me go get it wet. You know what I'm saying? Talking like that. Go on, get wet. Go on, get out of the way. That was the thing then. Nobody spoke on that. You know, we in the age now where we realize that it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Look at the R. Kelly thing when that came out. What he was doing with them young girls when I was in high school, that was almost an okay thing for older guys to come pick up girls. Now you look at it, these were sick bastards who were taking advantage of children. Right? So we are definitely at that time of waking up, and we got to come back to these type of laws to understand where we went wrong. How do we let that slip? A lot of us knew somebody that was older sleeping with somebody young, or somebody young sleeping with somebody too old. You know what I'm saying? We knew that. We thought it was okay. We thought it was a regular thing. When it's not, right? So, because that person is stuck without a choice for the rest of their life, that's their husband. They got mentally taken advantage of. Right? Right? So then if her husband liveth and she be married to another man, she shall be called adulteress. Right? So let's get that understood with our women. The only way you would be unmarried if your husband dies, right? Now, if you in the world, if your husband decides to put you away, that's different if he decides that he's leaving you. But I would advise that to be a situation where he would be willing to tell the man you're dating that he's not with you anymore. You know what I'm saying? You got to be, a lot of women wouldn't have that conversation when they're coming out of a relationship. Would you be willing to have your ex tell your new man, I'm done? That's the righteous way to do it. Especially if you got children, let your baby daddy and your new man have a conversation without you around and let them talk to get to the bottom of whether or not y'all still dealing with each other. But a lot of our women don't want to do that. So that's why you should always go back to taking the time to find out who you're going to be with. But if you have not done that, that don't mean you made a bad decision. It just means a little bit more work to do than when you would have done it the right way. It don't mean that you stuck with the wrong person. You know, it just means you're going to have to work a little harder to make it work. All right? Salaki. Salaki. All right. It's like I lost my spot here. If you got any questions, type them in the comments for me there. All right, let's get into this Matthew chapter 5, because Christ always broke this down here, right? All right, let's get Matthew chapter 5 and 27, all right? Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery, right? But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. Now, what do you think Christ was trying to get at here, right? Was he saying you see a beautiful woman, don't like her or something? That's not what he's saying, right? What he was saying is when you see a woman out, right, don't automatically just say, I got to have that woman because she may be married. You just go ahead and your spirit say, I want to bang that. That's a natural thing. So, I'll tell fire from that. And then the difference is with a grown man and a boy who cannot control himself, that boy has to go and get that no matter what. He has to go and follow his eyes and say, look, I want her. I don't care if she got a man, what they got to do with me. Can we be friends? Blah, blah, blah. That's why Christ said don't do that. Because you thinking automatically into a lustful thought process with this woman, it's damn near hard for you to even have a conversation with her until you wrap your mind around she's off limits. Right? And that's what a lot of the social media can do. You look at and women don't know if she's with a man or not. Right? That helps your spirit in terms of appreciating what you have. All right? So let's keep going with that. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh unto a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it out. Now that scripture right there is exactly what I'm talking about. Now was he saying pluck your eye out literally? No. What he was saying, you're weak-minded to where you see a woman, you gotta have her, or you watch something, see a woman on Instagram, and in your mind, you gotta go out and get a whore. You gotta go out and do this. Stop looking at it. Stop. Don't even look at it. Don't even put that in your spirit to where you will look at that woman and then decide, okay, I gotta have her. Find out about the woman and court the woman first. Then decide if you want to. Lust on always a bad word. You can lust for your wife. It's just extreme want, right? But you don't want to do that for a woman you don't even know. Right? So this is what the scripture we're talking about. If the right eye offend thee, pluck it out, cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that thy members perish, and that thy whole body should be cast into hell. Right? And if our right hand offend thee, that's talking about your actions. Your right hand is always your actions. All right? So if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off. All right? All right? So if your actions are always just going to go and do something evil, go get it, go sleep with another man, sleep with somebody else's woman. You need to shut yourself down. Stop taking action when it comes to dealing with people. Right? Because there's a such thing as you attracting a certain kind of people too. If your spirit ain't right in terms of what you're looking for, you will attract whores. You will attract evil men. The scriptures say a wicked woman go to a wicked man. So to get you a wicked woman, you have to ask yourself, have you been wicked? What have you been doing to better yourself before you came into this relationship? Because it's okay with not having a real or not having a husband for a time. It's okay. But you're not taught that in church. You're taught you have to go, graduate college, be married, have children. You don't have time to get yourself together. A lot of us rushed into these marriages because of what the church has done to us. The church told you you had to be married. You had to have this at a certain time. That you were shacking, which is crazy. All that disinformation led to our sisters being single, recently divorced, or LGBT community, or just crazy as hell and can't even hold a conversation because you have to take so much Prozac. Right? It was a congressman not too long ago. She was about 80 years old, and she was a part of that women's movement. And she wrote a long letter. Just look this up. It's a long letter she wrote out speaking on how that women's movement, independent from her man, all that crap right there, led her to have to be childless, pocket full of money, but on Prozac. That's how it is for most of our women. You know, we have this thought process. Women have the thought process of what they want, what the social media tells you a man should be, what level of perfect a man should be at, and it destroys the fabric of what you have in your home. Because there's something about the man that made you lay with him, something about that woman that made you lay with him. So fix that. Right? Right? All right. So it has been said, whoever shall put away his wife, let him give him a writing of divorce. Now, Moses wrote that, and I'm on Matthew chapter 5 and 31. Moses wrote it to where this is how wicked we were, right? To where we even got Moses messed up behind this. We want to do what we want to do. So Moses put in this that in the law that if you want to divorce a woman, write up a divorce letter, leave if you're tired of her, because there was so many people asking him, do I gotta stay with her? About do I do that's an evil spirit. If you just in your mind, like I got what I want from her, I'm finna leave. That's the spirit a lot of our people that are in now. If I'm done with him, if I'm not happy, I want to leave. Unequally yoked. That crap, which is not what that means. All right? But I say unto you that whosoever should put away his wife, save me for the cause of fornication. Right? Right? Save me for the cause of fornication. In this context, fornication is her sleep with another man. Right? That's the only reason you can leave your woman. Right? Now, and I think it's Baruch. I don't have my apocrypha with me, but it's a chapter, it's a scripture in the apocrypha. Well, the way you prevent that is your woman is not supposed to even sit with another man. That's a law, right? That's why you ain't got to go to her phone and look through nothing. She's not allowed to hang out with a man, like have a male best friend. That's a law. That's a law that she cannot do that, especially if she has a husband. Because you don't know a person that's been male best friends with somebody and there's nothing ever happened. You don't know that. It's never happened. It always ends up something happening between the two people. So preventive methods are put in this Bible to keep a marriage strong. But we don't want to listen to. We want to do what we want to do. All right? So you can't just leave the woman if it's not for fornication, because you will cause her to commit adultery. Right? Right? So you got to understand that bond the Most High wants you to keep. I'm going to get this other scripture you need to understand here. Salaki. Right, so some of the help marriages here. All right. So like I had my scriptures wrote down here, but I didn't have them with me. All right. Give me a second here. All right, I'm trying to find the one with marriage separation in the marriage here. Salaki. We got any questions up here? That's the main thing. We want to try to keep the marriages together, right? Because this is the time that was needed right now in these end times, right? Hold up. Salaki. All right. All right, yeah, 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. I think it's 1 Corinthians 7 and 5. First Corinthians 7 and 5. All right. All right. Now, let's start from the top, but this is a good chapter here. First Corinthians chapter 7. All right. Now, concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man to not touch a woman. What does that mean? Right? That don't mean don't get a wife, right? That means in that time frame when you don't have a rib, don't force to go get a rib. You should be forcing the work of God right now, right? If you don't have a rib. Lord may not want you to have a rib right now because it may block you from getting work done. That is a possibility. Because you can run up on the wrong woman and she will take you out the truth. if you're not girded up right, if you haven't built up your mind to get around the fact that you may lose her, right? That sometimes a man thinking he lost a woman it's made him leave the truth. It's made him trim his ways to please her. When the Lord does not accept that, He's going to take you from her, take her from you, take something from you anyway. All right, all right. So it don't mean you don't get a wife. It's just saying, it can be a good thing if you're not ready. All right. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, this is what I'm saying. Because what's what happens if you forcing that issue, if you got that urge, get a wife. But if you don't be that brother who don't want to have a rib, but you want to tap this here, tap that there, tap that there. Nah, that's what's considered fornication, because 9 times 10, if you and her mess around every blue moon, what's she doing in the meantime? She's messing with another man. Means she's married to another brother. Right? All right. Let every man have his own wife. All right. Don't want another man's woman. And let every woman have her own husband. Now, does that mean that man does not have another wife? It does not mean that. A man can be all yours when it's you and him. That don't mean he's not all yours. Is your child not all yours? If you have more than one child, is that child not all yours? Is that child not your child? Do you not love that child the same as you love the other child? So you can have your husband to yourself. The bedroom is undefiled. Enjoy your husband. All right? Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence. Right? Due benevolence is always making sure you don't go too long without sleeping with your woman. This is a law that God gave us, right? This is needed, right? And why is it needed? Because you can lose interest with somebody. So the Most High is commanding you to stay into your mate. No, do whatever you need to do to keep that bedroom spicy. Like I said, the bedroom was undefiled. So there's nothing wrong with spicing your bedroom up, whatever you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Making little suggestions to each other. All that is lawful. All that is lawful in the eyes of God. Nothing in the bedroom you do with your husband or spouse is unlawful. Only thing is unlawful is either if y'all bring anybody else to their room, male or female. That is unlawful. You cannot have more than one rib and then say, I'm gonna make all of them lay in the bed together. We're gonna do this. That's not the law. That is homosexuality. That is gay. That's LGBT. You cannot do that. Right? So that's what that means, all right? Let the husband render unto the wife his due benevolence, and likewise unto the husband. The wife have no power over her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband have no power over his own body, but the wife. So it's basically saying, don't just turn your partner down for sex all the time, right? You know what I'm saying? They have needs just like you do have needs. Defraud ye not one another, except it be with consent for a time. Defrauding means what? You know what I'm saying? To get away from each other, right? Don't defraud me. Don't play me. You know what I'm saying? That you may give yourselves to fasting and praying and come together again. So that means, let's say if you got like a time when you need to be away from each other, right? Right? Don't let that time away from each other make you go see other people. Make you lose faith in your marriage. If you gotta do fasting and praying, do that. Come together again. That Satan tempts you not for incontinency. Right? Right? So Paul was just stressing in this whole chapter that, ain't no wrong with not having a rib. Well, if you're going to have a rib, be righteous about it. Right? Right? Because guess what? What did he say? But if they cannot contain, let them marry. For it is better to marry than to burn. That means you can't control yourself. You have to have it all the time. Get a rib then. Get a rib. Get more than one of you need to. Right? That's the main thing. But the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. But if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband. Let not the husband put away his wife, but the rest speak. I not the Lord, if any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she is pleased to dwell with him. I'm gonna read that again. I am not the Lord, if any brother have a wife that believeth not. So that means the brother is in the truth, and his wife is not in the truth. How do you handle that? That's a hard thing, right? Let's just say you came in the truth, and your woman is not in the truth. She's a full-blown Christian or whatever she wants, or she's free, or she into Buddhism, or she like a little of this and like a little of that. You know what I'm saying? You can't leave her because she don't believe what you believe in. Now, that's not a good household to be in, especially if you got children. You want to be on one accord. But if you're in that situation, you still cannot just leave. You still cannot say, I'm done with this person, right? Let him not put her away, right? If she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. That's on both sides. If a woman is in the truth and her husband is not in the truth, when I mean the truth, I'm talking about ISUPK, of course. You can't leave the person for not believing what you believe. You've already slept with them. That's not how that works. You see how righteous the Most High is? Because it would be beneficial for us to just leave somebody when they don't believe what you believe. But since your body is more important than anything, he wants you to work that out. And he wants you to win that battle. If you are a sister in the truth and your husband is not, call that man my Lord anyway. Say, sir. Show him the utmost respect. So that man can show you actual love. Help that man. Help that sister. If that sister's not in the truth, and you in the truth and she's wavering on you, be patient with that sister. She saw you doing every type of wicked thing in the earth. She saw you doing it all. Then you pick up a Bible. You think she's supposed to just say, oh, okay, I'm going to roll with this? Nah, she's going to buck because you let her run a certain kind of way for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So it's going to take her time. The Lord snatched you up. She's a part of your branch. Understand, the more you fight for the Most High, the more he can ease her heart. The worst thing you want to do is be lukewarm in that situation when you have a person that don't believe. The worst thing you want to do is not be fully into the truth. Right? If you do that and you do other things behind closed doors, you might as well just kiss that goodbye because it's not going to work out. You may have been that brother that didn't need a real because you'll ruin that sister. You'll ruin that brother if you're not completely in this truth. If you're having second doubts, if you're backbiting a system that you learn, right? Right? For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. That's how that works. Right? They don't tell you that in the church. In the Christian church, they're going to tell you. In the Catholic church, they're going to tell you you are equally yoked. I just read this to you. I'm going to read it again. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. That means there's a level of protection on your wife if you're in the truth. There's a level of protection on your husband if he's in the truth. Because guess what's going to happen? When they try to leave you to get out this truth or leave you because of this truth, the Lord is not going to let them walk off into the sunset with their dream person. That's not how this works. I've never seen it. You can ask anybody who's in this situation, in the ISUPK anyway, because everything outside of here is Christianity. You know, you leave, like brothers who happened to their ribs who left them. What's happened to sisters whose husband left them? They didn't last long before they either came back or something happened to them out there. And we are in a time where you do not want to play with that, man. You do not want to be that person who's straddling the fence, knowing this is the truth, just because it may not fit you to the T. It's not going. You're supposed to fit into it. It don't fit into you. That's Christianity too. You want your God to satisfy your thought process all day instead of you pleasing him, pleasing what he said to do. That's what the Christian church is taught. That's why our marriages don't work. Because everything is taught to go and you do what's best for you, not do what's best for your family, best for your kids. Now, we talk about these Christmases and the holidays coming up, and we say it's for the kids, but you won't stay with that man for the kids. You will have kids and you think he got another woman, you out of here. Right? That sister might have gained a little weight. You see a little broad on Instagram, you want to leave her. The Lord will punish you for that, man. He will take your life because you don't understand how important marriages are to the Most High. You don't grasp that thought process. Let's get some more. Because guess what? We're married to him. That's what you got to realize too. Marriage is important on every aspect. We are his bride. Right? That's how you got to look at that, man. For the I read that part already. And the unbelieving wife sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. Right? You protect your children too. You're protecting your children. But if the unbelieving depart, let them depart. If your unbelieving depart, let them depart. If someone wants, what I mean by that is, it don't mean don't work on your marriage. If an unbelieving person wants to leave you because of this truth, let them go. That's not on you. Brother or sister, if you're in this truth, you have the power to understand you are in the right place. So if someone ever handles you a certain kind of way because of this truth, that's when you'll really get to see the Lord work. That's when you'll really get to see him work in your favor with no hesitation with that person. All right? All right. A brother or sister is not under slaughter. Let him depart. A brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases. Not under bondage, slaughter. But God has called us to peace. All right? All right? All right. For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband? Oh, how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife? You don't know. If they don't want to come into this truth, you don't know. You don't know what the Lord got planned. You can't worry about it. They leave you behind this truth, let them go. All right? But as God hath disputed to every man, as the Lord hath called every one to let him walk and so ordained in all churches, is any man called, right, being circumcised. So understand that's what this man is about, man. Sticking this thing out with somebody that you love. Not being so reckless and going to your own lust. All right? Because that's going to trickle down to your children. Sisters should want to care for a brother if your child is seeing you with more than one man over the years. The children need stability. That's what our children, that's what the generation that's messed the world, that the world is behind, is scared of now. They didn't have that foundation. They didn't have that. They didn't have that. And we need the most. So guess what? Black and Hispanic homes are not the most broken homes in the world. You know who got the most broken homes? Who can tell me? The most broken homes go to your so-called Caucasians. But is this an issue you hear them talking about a lot? Look it up. More broken homes and divorces are going on in your oppressor's household. But we get the effect of it. We end up in jail. We end up lost. We still don't know who the hell we are. Because they don't need that foundation. They are cavemen and women. But you got a moral standard that got to come from the family. The structure of that has to be followed to the T. Where the man is leading the household. You got God, Christ, man, woman, child. There's no other way to run that. No one has ever succeeded in that. And raised up a child that didn't have emotional problems behind that. So fight for them kids, man. We got to fight for everything else. Fight for them kids. Fight for your sanity. Because now that you know that you have to take time to meet that person, right? Don't rush into anything. Because it's going to mean the rest of your life. Right? It should slow you down. Like the scriptures telling a man, a righteous man, he can have more than one wife. That righteous man is not going to be looking to go and just get a bunch of wives. Right? Because he's a righteous and he knows, okay, I got to keep all these women. I can't go get this woman and I'm barely keeping the one I got happy. That's not wise. If you know you barely can handle the one you got, right? You can't even handle her mouth. Can you go handle two? Because he gonna fall out with you too. Some men can handle 8 or 9. You have to know yourself. That's why it's never. The scripture says, just because it's lawful don't mean it's expedient. That's exactly what it's talking about. Just because it's lawful to do it don't mean go do it. All right. So I'm gonna end this. We'll get one more. Let me see here. All right, let's get Matthew. Let's get that Matthew 23 and 30. I think that's 37. Forbidding. So, like, bear with me 1 second. Forbidding to marry. All right, this is 1 Timothy. So, like, 1 Timothy. Especially in hypocrisy. All right, let's get this. Okay. Now, the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, right? Speaking lies and hypocrisy. Because pertaining to what we're talking to today, right? What's the lies and hypocrisy you will hear a lot of times, right? We at first Timothy chapter 4, verse 2. The speaking lies and hypocrisy, right? One thing that comes to mind, we're talking about marriage, is the worst type of brother you could be. Don't be that brother who you married one woman, that's fine. You went to walk down the aisle and you see another brother who's got multiple wives, right? Don't be that brother who speaks out against multiple wives just to please your woman, and then you in turn go around and so-called cheat on that same woman. Right? Understand that every man is not supposed to have more than one woman. Some men need no women. Some men can need one. Some men just need 2. It's pretend on that brother, right? Don't be that brother that speaks out against it, then goes do that stuff behind closed doors. We see it all the time, especially in the Christian church, right? If a lot of them just kept it honest with their woman, they would have a better relationship. But they choose to lie and speak out against it. I love my queen. I'll never do this to you. I'll never look at another woman. I can't see nobody. You're lying, right? You're lying to that woman, all right? And you make it hard for brothers who speak the truth, right? You make it hard for that brother who's willing to tell his woman that. That's what our women need, is cold, hard truth out of them. Lying is a sign of fear and cowardice. That's another reason a woman can't respect it, because you lied about it. That's what you're taught in that church, to lie. Not be straight up, be sneaky, have a sneaky link. We pick up every kind of evil thought process when it comes to that. Right? So what else we got? We got having their conscience seared with a hot iron, having your mind made up that you got to walk down that aisle with a ring, or you ain't married. That's one thing that's on my mind. They say your conscience seared with this stuff, like a hot iron. You just not gonna change your mind on what marriage is, or how I feel about it. I ain't gotta stay with him. I'm gonna get out of this when I feel like it. I'm gonna leave her. I'm gonna lie and say she's cheating. I'm gonna do this. Your conscience is seared to be wicked. It's seared to be wicked. And that's what we got to get out of, man. All right. And it's the one I want to get to. Forbidding to marry. All right. Now, what does it mean to be forbidding to marry? Forbidding to marry is what? Forbidding to marry means you're mad at a man that has more than one wife. Because you know they ain't talking about one wife. When anybody will forbid you to marry one woman, right? We in a time right now where multiple wives are looked down on. But we also in a time where it says it's going to be needed in the earth. So don't be that person that wants to forbid somebody to marry if they get more than one woman. But don't be that sister who wants to retaliate against your man, your husband, if he gets another wife. That sister could actually help your life. Actual sisterhood could benefit you. You could have a spree of kids with his brother, and you might want to go out of town, but you may not have no family to do that, right? Or you may just have that sister a day you hate this bastard and you thinking about doing something to him, so like you know, before forbid you ever do that. You might need to have a conversation with somebody else who's dealing with him, right? You might need to see that other side of the picture. It's all type of reasons, but the main reason is because the Lord said it's okay. And you can't never tell me a time the Most High been wrong about what he said, else it wouldn't have been in here. Everything in this Bible is relevant to today's time. And I think a lot of our marriages will work out better if we stop, if a lot of our sisters stop worrying about that. If you ask 90% of black women why they left a man, it's going to say because of another woman. Then you went to another man, he messed with a woman. Another man, he messed with a woman. At some point, you have to understand you like a type of man that gets women. So if you marry that man and you see that man is that type of man, don't leave him because he got another woman. That don't mean he hates you. Now, this is speaking for people that follow the scriptures. I'm not telling you to go out and get no brothers in the word that got bitches that mess with hoes all day. You're going to get your feelings hurt. I'm telling you, speaking like Paul said, I speak to them that know the law. If you follow these scriptures and you in this Bible, you find you a brother in this truth that's going to be righteous about it. Because this truth will expand. All right? And you will see ISUPK men flooding the earth. That will be part of that 144,000. Get you one. Right? All right. We got any questions? All right, we're gonna pick this up a little bit more next week. We got any questions about anything? Put them in the questions and put them in the question box here or inbox us. We'll get right to you. This is the ISUPK Alabama. All right. Men of Israel, Amajim, Shabbat, Assalam. Amajim, Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatah, Amajim Batah, courtesy salute to the sisters, Barak, Yahweh Shema Thumba Shem Yahweh Shem. Amajim Batah, class dismissed.